Hey, black women. This video, right, that I'm talking about is a video of a stepfather who went online and lost his mind about the fact that his daughter, she's not his stepdaughter, she's actually his girlfriend's daughter, who have been cohabitating with him for like about 10 years or whatever. And so, wrongfully, her mother is allowing her to get married before she graduates from school and has a viable way of taking care of herself. But anyway, this man went on social media to rant and rave about the fact that he supposedly, okay, paid for the entire wedding, bought a car, and put her through state college. Now, those of us that live in the real world, we understand that state college is like community college, okay? That's not a senior college where you're going to pay a lot of money to go to school. And also, whenever you apply for college, whether you're paying tuition out of your pocket or whatever, there is still a certain portion of financial aid that everybody gets. So for him to constantly mislead the story as if he's solely doing everything without the help of other entities and other people is a bold-faced lie. The funniest part about this whole story is that he's just bad because he ain't the real dad. You know what I mean? And he's also an idiot because it shows that he really doesn't know anything about parenting, and he's a very selfish, egotistical person who, on a day when it's supposed to be about the girl who's getting married, who in my opinion should not. She should take her ass to school, get a degree, and after she gets her degree and finds employment, make a decision to decide to get married. She's young, she's about to fuck up her life, and I don't understand why her mother's co-signing that bullshit. But, and this is how poverty and becoming a single mother, living in poverty, begins, by doing dumb shit like this. So black young girls, listen to this. Like, do not marry people at 18, 19, 20. Don't marry nobody till you damn near 35. You've already graduated college. You have some sort of direction of where your life is going. Otherwise, you're just setting yourself up for failure. And it doesn't matter if he has a lot of money or not, because 9 times out of 10, statistically, it's proven, and I'm not a statistical person, that those marriages don't last because you're young and you have not really become an adult able to deal with and handle all the things life has to show you, and you will change. And most times, more than not, you outgrow each other. You actually start to hate each other. So anyway, this dude is hilarious because he's going through a hotep explosion. Like, don't give me the title. No, wait, how's it go? How did they say it? Don't give me the job without the title. So he's over here proclaiming he's something that he's not. First off, you're not married to the mother, so you're not anybody's stepfather. You're just a boyfriend, and these are just her children. So stop it. He he misrepresents everything. Then he gets offended because the girl honestly has more feelings for her real father than him. This guy is a perfect stranger, and he's getting caught up on the fact that because he identifies or defines his perceived manhood as being a provider, and oh, I'm doing all these things for you, so automatically you're supposed to love me and worship me more than your own father. That's not how it works, asshole. No child. I don't care if you're Jesus Christ himself. You could be Jesus Christ's stepchild. They're not gonna love Jesus Christ or anybody else more than they love their own biological mother or father. How don't you know these things and you call yourself grown, right? Then on top of that, it's not your place, homie. If this is her day and you claim you care about the mother and the daughter, which you do not, because he couldn't get the accolades and the praises that he wanted, he ended his relationship and threw these people, threw the mother and daughter out his house, right? And claims he stopped paying for the wedding. But those of us who have ever been married at a venue, you know that he didn't really pay for no whole wedding. He just paid the money that you got to put down to hold on to the venue in case something is going to possibly happen. And the reason why he's upset is because 9 times out of 10, depending on where you go, you can't get your money back. But the whole thing is paid over time in installments. So everything he's talking about is a fucking lie. The only thing he's 100% right about is the fact that his feelings were hurt because he wanted to be the man in the situation when he wasn't. And it's ridiculous because it speaks to all the insecurities and shit that black males have, which is why they're not men. And when I put this video together, the only person I chose to showcase their opinion, because it was the actual appropriate opinion, age appropriate, as well as responsibility level when it comes to parenting and being a representation of a man, was the white man, because he was the only one that had the right mentality. Like, and there were 2 other black dudes in the video. If you go watch it, I'm not going to include them in my video because I don't want to. But one dude was partially right, and the other one was spot on when he was like, look, dude, same thing the white man said. If you supposedly love and care about the mom and the daughter, then you are supposed to realize that this is a day you're going to get your feelings hurt. This is her day. She ain't giving a fuck about you. She's caring about what makes her happy. And she's a child. So you're expecting a child to act like an adult that conforms to your opinion of who they're supposed to be. Not going to happen. I can tell you as a biological parent, children specialize in disrespecting and hurting the feelings of their parents. Didn't you know that, son? It goes to show you that he ain't never been no kind of real parent. Because when you're a real parent, your kids often do shit that make you go, I just can't get no goddamn appreciation around here. Like, look at all the shit I do, and I tell you to do one thing, and you still can't do that. Come on now. You got to straighten up. But that's part of being a parent. And it doesn't have anything to do with you being a bad parent or a good parent, because there is no such thing. You have to deal with the cards that are given to you. So in being a parent, you learn that there are hard times with your children because it's your job to try to force them into the person they're supposed to be. And if you think they're not going to push back and fight you, you are sadly mistaken, because that's the only thing they ever do. So his opinion is because of the fact that he's not a person that has had to be responsible for children in his life before, to the extent where he would know this, because if he did, he would not be offended. He would understand, like, okay, yeah, she's disrespecting me today. She's not appreciating all my hard work because this is her day. So she's clouded by overjoy and the fantasy of getting whatever it is she has dreamed about. When in reality, you should know deep down inside, as a real adult who has had kids and lived a real life, you know that her shit is going to come tumbling down, crashing down in a matter of fucking time. And now your job to eventually be appreciated is to be there when it fucking collapses. Because if you are this great person that you claim to be in this video, where you've always been there to do the right thing, you know that time is coming, because it happens. Believe me, it happens. shit, something like this happened to me. Like, one of my ex-husbands, he lives in Hawaii now. He owns a gym in Hawaii. He got married for the 5th time, right? And we have children in common. So all of my children know him, even the children of mine from my second husband. And they decided they all wanted to go to my ex-husband's marriage, because his wedding, whatever, because their siblings were going. Now me, I felt some type of way about that, because I felt like, hey, I'm all of y'all's mother. And he's only like half of you guys' dad, and y'all are all choosing him over me. My feelings are hurt, right? They didn't give a fuck about my feelings. They was like, Mommy, you being ridiculous. The children of mine whose father it was, they're like, no, because he's my father, and I want to go, and I'm going, and you just going to have to be mad. And they literally told me that to my face, okay? So if I got to swallow that, handle it, and just be like, yeah, well, shit happens. That is their parent, and if they choose to do something with their father or attend something that's going on with their father, and they don't care if I didn't get an invitation or not, they're not supposed to worry, because that is still their father. So I had to chuck that one up. And even though I sulked all day and I was upset about it and maybe cried just a little bit, right? That's too bad for me, because they have the right to do that. So when I see a grown person coming on here belly aching and bugging out to this extent, Yo, I laugh because I'm like, this dude doesn't even realize that this is what happens when you're a parent. This is not an isolated incident for him. This is par for the course, homie. This is how shit goes. You're gonna get your feelings hurt a lot as a parent, and you're gonna have to learn to deal with it. It is what it is, but it's funny as fuck that he decided that because they disrespected him, he's gonna be a true black male and throw them out of his house. That's the crazy shit. So because you got your feelings hurt, now you just destroying everything. And so be it. But let this be a lesson to black women and young girls out there to realize what is happening in this story. This is not a story that's solely about him not getting an invitation to the wedding and he's having a bitch fit, but also because here again, I tell you all the time, you're supposed to always have your own. Now, who knows? Maybe this mom does still have her own apartment or her own home somewhere else, because people do things like that. But this is why you never ever put your sole living situation and level of responsibility as a human being in the trust of another person, because they're going to always let you down. This guy is a prime reminder of the fact that all that shit y'all be talking about with the living in your what is that shit they call it? I don't know, living in your femininity, whatever the fuck it is. You can't do that with men, because the first time you disappoint them, they're going to use everything they can that they hold over your head against you to hurt you, because they don't really like you. They just want to use you and have you be a servant to them. And as soon as you are no longer useful to them, they show you how they really feel about you. Now, he's been with this woman for 10 years, been around this child for 10 years, and clearly he doesn't have a good relationship, because if he did, somewhere along the line, this young girl, just typically speaking, because children are not like grown-ups, they have feelings for people, you know, and they can understand. They're still children. So what I'm trying to say is they still have that portion of innocence in them, where if this dude was really a decent dude, she would have been like, even though my dad is going to walk me down the aisle, my stepfather, you know, whatever, or my mother's boyfriend, whatever, she would have did it. She would have did it. Because as much as I was involved with my parents before my dad died, my mother got remarried a few times after that, right? And she had a couple of boyfriends in between. So one of her boyfriends, I really liked him. Really nice dude, but, you know, things just didn't work out with him and my mom. Too bad, but I missed that man, right? I missed him because he was a nice person. And when I was younger, black males were different people. They weren't like these pieces of shit that are out here today. So he really was a good guy. That was an issue for me. And, you know, even though he didn't understand that it was okay for him to still keep in touch with me, because that would have helped me with wean off my missing him, that affected me. And all these things happen with young girls. And so later on, when my mother got married again, I think it was like her third husband, he was an okay dude. When I say okay, like, he kind of like, he understood his place as a real stepfather, because he was actually married to my mother. And he kept trying to have her change like all of our names to his last name, but my mother was like, no. And she did the right thing, because when you do shit like that, you give strangers like real legal control over your children. So she was like, no. And plus my grandmother was like, that shit is not going to happen. So it didn't. So anyway, he was a decent dude. But when they got divorced, he kept in touch. He kept in touch for a while until we stopped wanting to talk to him. And then he still showed up like at one of my sister's baby showers. And we were like, oh, what's up? You know, we were very happy to see him. So believe me, it is a difference. Like, when you are a decent person, people will treat you as such. But when you are a piece of shit pretending to be a good person, or you have this egotistical mentality of thinking that because you want to be or claim to be the stepfather and provider when you're actually not, you think that you're owed a certain level of respect because you give yourself a title, don't mean shit to the people who you doing the damage to. That's really what's it about, what it's all about. And to teach black women and little girls that, once again, there are no Prince Charming's out there coming to save you. Just fucking frogs and toads like this dude that's over here crying about how my name wasn't on the goddamn invitation. I couldn't get no shout out at the marriage. At the wedding. I just been disrespected. Yo, he was acting like a true bitch the whole time. It was crazy. And only three men in this video had enough sense to call him out and be like, dude, you gotta regroup. It's not about you. It's not your day. It's her day. And if you really loved her, you wouldn't give a fuck anyway, because you know that it's going to be another day when she's going to come and acknowledge you because shit has fell apart. Because that's how life fucking goes. All right, black women, heed the message in this goddamn video. Have your own shit. Never be in a position to have somebody turn you out on your ass with you having absolutely nothing to take care of yourself.
The real daddy is the one that's going to walk her down the aisle.
Yeah. At this point, I'm going to ask you to pause, go watch this whole video, and then come back. This is way too much for me to try and unpack in a minute. Are you back? Okay, good.
Okay, so black women, I wanted to add this last piece in case, for clarity purposes. When the boyfriend, who calls himself the stepfather, was talking about how he was going to pay for everything, he's trying to make it seem like this is a real venue. When I was speaking about the venue, I was talking about a real place. Keep in mind that he's talking about that this is going to happen in his home, okay? So you're talking about a backyard situation and people running through your house. Not the greatest, but it is what it is. Then when he's talking about being surprised that the young lady would actually want her real father to walk her down the aisle, he's very delusional. This is her biological parents. Why in the world would any child want to substitute a stranger for their real parent, regardless of how long they've lived with them or whoever the fuck he is? This just goes to show you how more of this man's fragile ego and insecurities is, showing you that he's not a real man and that he could never be. Because if you can't handle shit that is obvious to you and you want everything to be about you, wrapped about you, you're not anybody's anything. All you are is a person looking for people to give you accolades that you do not deserve. Just because you do something for somebody does not mean that they owe you anything, okay? If you want to build those sentimental bonds and those love bonds, then you need to work on that. And you running around trying to make it seem like you're the king of the castle is not going to get it done. That is their biggest issue. And once again, speaking to that emotional intelligence that they do not possess. And I dare say emotional age appropriateness they don't know how to possess. So black women, think about this video, upgrade whatever decisions you're making, and wherever you can possible, omit black males from your life, and you'd be better off with it. You live better by doing that. Later.